second closing that I want to talk about, hands down my most memorable closing. The property was on a road called Chateau Ridge Road. I bought a home that was foreclosed on, and it was roughly at drywall, and it was a duplex, so there were two sides to it. Each side was probably 3,300 square feet, so it was decent in size. I had done a lot of renovation projects to that point, so I was excited. I'm like, yes, finally something that's new. Little did I know what I was in for. The first problem that I dealt with was, and the city says to us, where are your construction plans? It was hell just getting a hold of the plans. And then we get a hold of the plans and I find out some code has changed. So now I'm already into this thing for substantially more money because I'm ripping out drywall, I'm ripping out finishes and things that we had completed already, redo a bunch of stuff. It's not uncommon for city inspectors to make it known that they know the code book inside and out. At the time I was, early to mid 30s, so I think they decided they'd also teach me a lesson, and the lesson was learned. Buying a new construction that was partially completed, coming out of foreclosure is something I probably will never tackle again. So we go through this process. It's a comedy of errors, but finally we're getting to a certificate of occupancy. Castle Pines is an HOA. It's a metro district. There's a lot of people paying attention to what you do. Unbeknownst to me, soil quality is not great. They require something obnoxious, like 12 inches of new topsoil before I put any sod down, before I put any plants down. So we bring in 12 inches of new topsoil, and we put in sprinkler lines, and we plant grass, and we plant bushes, and we have a drip system. We complete that, and there's rain in the forecast. I'm thinking, great, you know, all this stuff's gonna get watered in. And to set the stage, we're at street level, grading up to the front door. Well, sure enough, that night, 500-year storm happens. So it dumps an ungodly amount of rain. I don't remember how much, but we're basically on a mini mountain and we're at the base of it. Behind us, all this water is collecting on this mountain / really big hill, turns into a river, parts ways behind our property, literally washes out all of our grass, 12 inches of topsoil, all of our plants, so strong it even takes and rips the sprinkler lines out. Well, all of this stuff ends up in the street. $35,000 worth of landscape material in the street. So it would have been nice for somebody to call me and go, oh my God, Nathan, we are so sorry you experienced this. That's not the phone call I got. I got an angry phone call. Hey, all of your stuff is in the street. It's blocking the street. There's mud everywhere. There's grass. Sprinkler lines. I mean, they are angry with me. It's 8 o'clock in the morning, so now I'm trying to figure out, how do I get crews out there? They're threatening to fine me. I already know at this point I'm probably losing money on this project. It doesn't stop there. It only gets worse. When I bought the property, I was comparing it to all the other duplexes on Chateau Ridge Road. Well, on the other side of the street, they're true ranch properties with walkout basements, because that slope is coming down that big hill / mini mountain. And everything on the opposite side of the street sold for more money than what I was going to sell for. The average age on this street was probably late 60s, early 70s. My property, my 2 units, to get to the front door, you probably walked up 10, 12 steps. And when you got to the front door, you had a choice. You could walk up into the living area or walk down into what was essentially the basement area down where the garage was at. And if you think about people in their late 60s, early 70s, stairs are not their friend. The majority of my prospective buyers didn't like the home the way that it was, were willing to pay more money for a true ranch, especially a ranch with a walkout basement. So I had overestimated my values, $50,000, $60,000 a door. I finally get buyers and I go to the closing, and I don't remember exactly how much money I lost, but it was close to $100,000. It felt amazing to walk away from that closing. The nonsense was finally over. I was able to look back and reflect on what I had learned. I finally knew the number, because as the landscape was washed out into the street, as I had to rip things out of the property, as I was making price reductions and not knowing fully where I would land, I didn't know how bad it was going to get. If you asked me about the closings that went really well, that I made a bunch of money, if I thought really hard, I could reflect back and remember projects, but nowhere near as memorable as these two closings. I'm going to give you two. First one is do more due diligence when you're getting into a project type that you're not familiar with. So on the Pop Top, it was my second one. I should have been more invasive. We should have, poked some holes into that ceiling or done some research on how the home was constructed originally. There's more that I could have done. Could have done more due diligence on the contractor as well. Extra responsibilities that I was relinquishing and handing to them was something that they were going to be able to handle well. Lesson number two is don't let your ego get in the way. When you're a real estate developer, investor, whatever that is, and you make a decision, I'm going to buy this property and I'm going to renovate it this way and I'm going to sell it for this amount of money. The bigger your ego is, the less likely you are willing to admit that you're wrong and pivot and change course of action so that you can either get it done sooner or minimize losses or both. Those would be the two big takeaways from those closings. And I'll say this, I've done probably 500-600 units worth of development. That includes some business that we did in Kansas City. I've done close to 250 fix and flips before building ground up. So it's been a lot, and I've been fortunate. I've been profitable on most every project that I've done, probably somewhere between 5 and 10 that aren't. But today I shared with you the two that are the ugliest, and they just so happen to be my two most memorable closings. If you like what you've learned today, please like and subscribe to our YouTube channel for more content like this.